And of course, the lawnmower is going right now. Go figure. Whatever. We'll make it up as we go along. Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Thrive Loud with Lou Diamond, connecting you to the most inspiring and amazing people that are thriving each and every day. I'm your host, Lou Diamond. Says it right there. And today on Thrive Loud, I am honored and thrilled to do a catch-up episode where we go back and speak to some of the amazing hundreds of guests that we have, but we pick one. We pick one that's special, amazing, incredible, fun, and I would actually argue unstoppable. Thrive Loud listeners, please welcome the incredible Tracy Timm. Tracy, how are you today?
That was so wonderful. I'm even better than I was 5 minutes ago. I love that intro. Thank you. I'm doing well.
I love the fact that we are catching up, and listeners need to know how important the power of connection is.
Oh my God.
Okay. So everyone in the social sphere who follows people, they'll see their clips. They've got their own worlds going on, whether it's podcasts or speaking gigs or client work or blogs or emails that are sent to your attention personally, which Tracy seems to send once a week, which I get. And of course, it takes an interview with someone more recently on the show, another Dallas native, Carrie. We'll talk about her in a minute. And literally, I get a message like, "How are my two favorite people connecting?" And it was in the same day that I learned about your new book launch. Yeah. So I was excited. I'm like, "You're getting on right now. We are getting you on a Thrive Loud live episode. We're going to catch up. We're going to share with the listeners what's going on." So Tracy Timm, how are you?
I'm doing so good. I'm here in Dallas and life is moving on. I'm just so excited to be talking to you again because it's been way too long since we saw each other last. It's good. We've got all kinds of exciting stuff going on.
Okay, so let's talk exciting stuff. What brought on Unstoppable, your new book?
Yeah, so it's my first book. I wrote a book.
And she's got it right there. I love it.
What the heck? I mean,
listeners got to love when the author they hold it in hands. It's
yeah. So I bet you everybody I've ever met in my life, as I've told at some point, I'm going to write a book. That's going to be a thing. And when I first started tracytimm.com, that was kind of a blog that was meant to be an MVP of a book. Do people actually want to read what I have to write? Does this stuff matter? Can I write it in a reasonably entertaining way? And so now all of that's come to fruition in a book that not only did I write, but it's like my core methodology that I built that we've now worked hundreds of people through to help them find career clarity and finally be able to articulate their value and actually know what their non-negotiables are so they can make easier life and career decisions. So it's really cool. It feels like a coming out kind of thing, like a I don't know, a little, what were those things that you would do when you're like a young Southern girl, like a cotillion or like my presentation to the world.
You were like a debutante, if you would. You're like coming out type thing.
Yeah.
So Trace, you talked about some of these methodologies. I'm going to rewind because my memory is spotty at best, but also not bad at times. I remembered we walked through your whole career journey and talked about how this became your path. And you were really getting in the flow of this methodology that you were putting together. Back then, the nth degree type stuff was the main focus. Can you talk about some of these steps of your methodology that's in Unstoppable?
Yes, absolutely. So what's funny is I'm a huge nerd and I love alliteration. So the reason that the book...
By the way, listeners need to know, she is a huge nerd. She's like close to 6 feet tall.
Nerd. Oh! You went for the huge side, not the nerd side. All right, I'm going to get you for that one. Yeah. So when I used to tell people what I did, they were like, what do you help people really do? And I was like, I help them go from stuck to feeling unstoppable, like whatever stuck means to you. Maybe you aren't sure what you want to do next, or you've never had a job that you liked, or you're miserably employed, or you feel like you have to stay where you are. Like without a vision, you don't to know where you want to go proactively. You're kind of stuck where it is that you are currently, that you don't have any options. And I wanted to alleviate everything that was keeping somebody from feeling stuck and have them feel full of potential and unstoppable in sort of a limitless kind of way. And so Unstoppable, I just sort of started, that was our new tagline, from stuck to unstoppable. And it kind of has a nice ring to it. So what we teach, what I built, and then now my trained coaches and, my team teach and facilitate, is a really clean step-by-step strategic process that helps somebody first discover their true value as a professional. So what are the puzzle pieces of your masterpiece, if you will, as a person and as a career professional? And then the second phase is, okay, how do we then define, based on that discovery, what's your unique zone of genius out in the career marketplace? And how do we get so specific with that no one can compare to you, because we're layering all those sort of puzzle pieces on top of one another, right? So the goal is to define somebody's best and highest value so that they can have the best chance at performing at the highest level, and thus achieving success, achieving it sustainably, and hopefully making some good money along the way, right? And then the last phase is, okay, well, now that I have discovered who I really am and the value that I add, and I've defined this really unique zone of genius out in the world and why I'm the best choice for it, what do I do? How do I go turn that into reality? So the last phase is drive. How do I get back in the driver's seat and drive my career forward with intention? And so we teach people strategies that I think work the best for actually moving your career forward fastest, and how to keep yourself nourished along the way, whether that means your motivation or your support system, or re-engaging with what you value and making sure you're still making decisions using all that hard work you did at the beginning of the process. So it's evolved over time. I remember thinking, oh yeah, people just need to know their core values. And then once you know your core values, like you won't make a decision against those values. Well, it turns out it's really easy to get distracted by a salary or a new cool status of a job, or, oh, we're going to give you this title or whatever. And you think in the moment that that's going to outweigh the fact that that you didn't think about whether the job actually meets your true life core values. Like, if you want a lot of freedom, don't take a CMO role where they're, calling you at 8 a.m. on a Saturday and expecting you to come into the office, right? Like, and we do that honestly without thinking further beyond how we're going to feel in that moment. Like you feel like accomplished, you feel your ego's up, right? And then you go a week into the job and you're like, well, that's gone. So now I have to do this job right. So it all came out of my own personal story, which of course I shared with you. And I think I shared the last time we were together, which was that I started on Wall Street and just didn't know what I wanted to do. So I felt stuck there without a vision. So we help people build that vision. And then if they have it, we help them figure out how to make better and faster career decisions so they don't wind up repeating past mistakes or taking a job without really investigating whether or not it's going to meet their criteria.
I got two questions that just ran through your little run through here. I want the first one to be about
the lawnmower.
The lawnmower. For those that are listening on or watching right now, yes, there's a lawnmower walking out of the outside. My sound editor is going to have more fun with the audio piece.
It's the worst. It's the worst. I was working out of my mom's house for 2 months.
Should I shoot him?
The lawnmower guy?
Yeah, no. I think so. Yeah, anyway, so two questions. The two questions are, first, right now, thinking about your career and what you want to do in this COVID time, how have you been helping and dealing with this uniqueness? Because so many of us are obviously virtual. I want to hear your unstoppable methods for the world we're in today.
So I have to say that the way that I sort of think about COVID, and it's obviously a really unique impact on all of us, and we didn't see it coming, and we have no idea how we're going to deal with it and all these things. But to me, COVID is just a really clear representation of how uncertain life is in general, right? About how our lives and our careers may have the veneer of safety and security, and they may look really secure and stable, but at the end of the day, we don't control anything. So to me, this is just a really great microcosm example of anything that could change in your life, except that we're all experiencing it together, right? So I think this is made really clear for most people is that they can't lean on, oh, this is stable and secure and this will always be there for me. They have to be consistently proactive and evolving in their career to stay one step ahead of an inevitable change that you can never see coming, right? And so people keep asking me, well, in times of uncertainty, what do you do? Should I just stay where I am and sort of wait it out? Should I be open to anything because there won't be as many opportunities, And think no and no. What you need to do when things are uncertain is she or he with the most clarity, while everybody else is confused and in chaos, is going to win.
Right.
Period. So if you and I know exactly who we are, exactly how we add value, exactly why nobody can compete with us, exactly what we want to go do in the world and why we're equipped to do it, and we can speak to that with absolute confidence and clarity, that's how you alleviate uncertainty. And when you're in times of uncertainty, which are going to happen, and right now it's just happening on a global scale, if you don't speak to that which you want to do, you're just part of the noise of everybody else who's just clamoring for a job or a raise or a whatever, when you should be looking for the job, right? The raise, the thing that's yours uniquely. And I've found that that's worked really well for our clients. We just had a graduate. This is so perfect, actually. She came into our program 30 days later. She knew exactly what she wanted to do. She had more confidence than she ever did before. 2 weeks after she graduated, she had competing offers for a job that prior to our program, she would not have even applied for because she didn't think she had enough experience. And so she's making more money, already working in that job in the middle of a global pandemic. Like if that to me, that's such a great case study, because she was able to go out into the marketplace that is uncertain and say, this is true, this is certain, you can bank on me. Right.
So now writing a book. I know how you
do it.
I've done it. I've done it. Many people have done it. And I want to understand your writing process, because I kind of know how your mind thinks a little bit. And yes, because it's all over the place, and it's like this, almost like shooting lasers. So Tracy, what was that process like for you? Were you regimented? Were you disciplined? Did you have it all in your head and it was just a matter of getting it out? Listeners want to know.
Oh God. Okay, you guys, you want to know the nitty gritty? Here's the thing. If I did not have an agency that I was working with and a publisher that I was working with, this book would not have been written, because I thrive on deadlines. When somebody's like, this is due at this date, I show up. Now, I may miss it by a week, but I'll hit it the week after, as opposed to having no deadlines and never doing anything, right?
Yep.
So having them was crucial. And then the writing process itself was actually, because Unstoppable is literally the steps. It's the step-by-step process. This is our proven methodology, this bad boy right here. And so I literally just walk people through that, which I spent about 5 years creating, and building. So I know it better than anybody inside and out. And so frankly, just to get started, because you guys, staring at a blank page, there's like nothing more overwhelming. Like, what is word number 1 going to be? I have no idea. So what I did is actually, I have a program where we have videos and we have exercises, and it's kind of our bread and butter foundational breakthrough career clarity program. I took the scripts that I wrote for all of those videos, and I just made sort of a raw outline of step by step what we walk people through. And those scripts were the bare bones of what ended up becoming the book.
Nice.
And I just needed some structure, right? And I needed to understand.
You're kidding. You needed structure? To
get something done. Otherwise I'm like, squirrel, shiny thing, off to something fun and new. And that's like entrepreneurs 101, right? Like we're always off to this cool, fun, new next thing. And so sitting down to write a book, if you are not naturally disciplined, build yourself some structure. If you can't build your own structure, buy it. People will enforce you, especially if they have money on the line and their name's on the line. And so that was helpful. And then you know what? I thought I literally, it was 1 year ago today that I submitted the manuscript, the very first manuscript. My mom and I we're going to go on a trip to Israel, which is really cool. So I submitted it the day before so that I wouldn't have to think about the book the whole time we were gone. And then when I got back, they were like, so this is like 2/3 of a book. I was like, oh no, I have to add so I went back and added a whole nother section. And so, there's 3 distinct sections in it now, and it's much more robust than it was before, but it's just so good to have other eyes on things, especially if you're the kind of person who doesn't edit, doesn't naturally. I write it and I'm like, it's perfect, send it away, but then at the same time, the number of rewrites, when I would reread it, I'd be like, oh, this is garbage. Like I could say this way better. And so it's a creative process for a creative mind that doesn't naturally do structure, but I'm so grateful for the people who were involved in the creation
I
process.
think we'll give them a shout out because I'm very familiar with them. I assume you were
Oh yeah,
page two. Yeah, right.
page
Yeah,
two homies.
they are
Tina,
spectacular.
Kendra, my editor, all of them were great.
Yeah, the editor is the relationship with the editor is okay, but
She helped me come up with the tagline. So happy to use
no,
her
it's
tagline.
awesome. And the tagline for those who are watching here is obviously right below us here, as you can see.
Yeah.
Discover your true value, define your genius zone, and drive your dream career, which sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Which is awesome because you were awesome, and we've known all this, so we've
You're
caught up.
so sweet. I love this.
Here's what I want to do because I want to have fun with you in a different level here. I'm gonna get one serious work question.
Okay.
And then we'll drive it to Fun Street. That sound like a plan?
Let's do it. Okay. I'm in. Okay. I'm game.
The serious work question is this. I think a lot of people are maybe thinking of the job, but are having trouble maybe finding the job that leads to the path of the career, right?
The bridge job.
Exactly.
Yes.
Tell me how you're helping people who are looking for the connection between step A to step B or whatever it might be, or the bridge where it is. How are you helping them think unstoppably, understanding that there might be a go-between?
Oh, it's so crucial because here's the thing that most of us don't realize when we look at sort of these astronomical successes or the overnight blah, 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 like millionaires of the world is like, no, that's just not how things work. There's generally this middle that's really murky and very clunky. And then on one side, you have the one part of the story. And when you finally get through the murk and the clunkiness, you have the other side of the story. And when you go to tell it later, you're like, and then I just wound up doing blah, blah, blah. But that middle part is messy and gross and sometimes not fun. What I like to teach people to do is when you've defined your niche, when you know in no uncertain terms who you have a heart to serve, what problem that you can't allow to go unsolved, and how you uniquely are set up to solve that problem. That's sort of those are the major components of one's niche, right? Because that gets into the who, what, when, where, why, how, the 6 W's of what we could be doing out in the world. So the way that we like to tell people to think about their niche is imagine that your career is a tree, like your career options are a tree. Your niche is the trunk of that tree, okay? What makes up the tree, the roots, right? That's the who, what, when, where, why, and how. That's all the little details. And so you have to know the trunk, but you also have to know the details so that if you get an opportunity and say, freedom is important to you. Well, what does that really mean? Does it mean you need to work remotely? Does it mean you get to pick your own hours? Does it mean as long as you're working these certain hours, you can be anywhere you want? Like you have to know the specifics, and those build up into the trunk of your tree. Now, what your options are, those are the branches. So let's say the trunk of your tree, we had a girl graduate who was really passionate about human trafficking and serving victims of human trafficking. And
hopefully she wasn't passionate about going into the business of human trafficking.
No, oh my gosh. I hope that didn't go. Oh.
I'm like, please, Tracy, don't be directing people into the line of work. Come on.
You ran me right into a hole.
Okay.
So she's just one of my best examples because she thought, okay, all I can do, the only option if I want to work in this field in a good way, right?
Yes.
Is to help it, to alleviate it, right? Is to serve victims like that. And that's one branch of the tree, right? But there are all these other branches that she didn't even realize were options. And when she started to explore what was actually available from the trunk of that tree, she realized there are companies like the Deloittes and consulting firms of the world that actually have arms of their company that will consult the service providers who serve victims, right? Then there are the people who directly serve the victims. And then there are the people who are the CEOs of the company that serves the victims. I mean, there's all these cool spectrum of branches of opportunities. So when she would have one sort of option she'd be pursuing fizzle out, if you only have the one branch you're working off of, then it's really overwhelming. It's very disconcerting when you hit a dead end because you think this was my only option. This was all I had to choose from. But when you think of your niche as the trunk of a tree, then you can get really creative about what your branches are. And then even each individual twig or each individual leaf is just one opportunity at one company in one place, right? With one opening. And when you start to think about it like that, you have so many more options and opportunities available to you. The key to doing this bridge piece is to deeply understand your roots, the who, what, when, where, why, and how, and to find something that fits within your niche that may not be fully encompassing of all of the things that you want to do. But if you're going to give something up, you're very specific about what that is. So if you're going to give something up, don't let it be something that's in direct violation of, say, your core values. Or if you're going to give something up, don't let it be something that requires you to be a totally different person in a given day, right? Like if I'm going to give something up on behalf of a job, if it requires me to sit in front of spreadsheets for 8 hours a day, I'm going to put a pen in my eye. Like that's not sustainable. And even if it's your bridge,
keep these sharp objects away from Tracy.
If you can't sustain your bridge for long enough to get you to the other side, then it's not a bridge, right? It's not worth it. It's going right back from the frying pan into the fire. So what we try to help people do is, for instance, like when I started my business, being a career clarity coach, guess what? Not profitable from day one. Girls got to eat. And so what I did was my bridge job was actually working as a human capital advisor. So I was doing the exact same work, but for companies instead of for individuals, right? So I would go in and implement a behavioral assessment. And what was cool about that was I was getting to learn in real time and build my own methodology off the back of what I was learning within these companies, and then test it on clients that I was working with in my free time, right? Like my 10 to 20% margin working time where I wasn't, at a meeting or trying to call on a client or whatever. So that was my bridge. And my bridge lasted 3 years where I was 80% doing that, 20% doing what I really wanted to be doing. And then slowly but surely they crept closer together. And then by year 4, I switched. So I started its nth degree. And then this business is going to fizzle away. And it didn't even completely fizzle away until year 5. So people who see like, oh, well, she just went out there and started this career and invented her own. I didn't even know what to call myself for the first 3 years.
You called yourself Tracy. I'm still convinced you did. I'm pretty sure, but no, but you're 100% right.
Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah.
You're in even companies have this issue in developing your brand and what you do. Like I know I'm thinking it as a marketing term, but your brand has a value and it has meaning and it connects with people and we can associate depth with it. And that's who you've been trying to shape. And in putting all this stuff together, it's really cool because I can't think of anyone I've ever met that has an energy that doesn't mirror being unstoppable. I wish your unstoppable power would stop the gosh darn lawnmower right outside the thing. But it is true that this is the energy you have. So it's awesome. And I'm so psyched for you.
Thank you.
So let's do this. Let's do the admin part of the show. Share with the listeners all the places people can find Unstoppable. Find the links and all those things. We will put it all in the show notes. There's the picture for those of viewers that are watching here. Tell the people on the listeners that can't see what you're looking at where they can go get it.
So Unstoppable, which is the career clarity book for you. If you don't know what you want to do, or you think you know what you want to do, but you suck at making career decisions, this is the step-by-step process to help. So all you need to do is go to unstoppablecareerbook.com. So that's Unstoppable Career Book. And if you just Google Unstoppable Career Book, I bet you'll find it. And then also on our website, tracytimm.com, there's also a tab there for the Unstoppable book. And it looks primarily exactly the same as the book only page. And that's where you can actually you can pre-order right now because it launches September 29th. So we'd love to have your pre-orders. And you can also download chapter 1 and the introduction totally for free. And there's some really cool incentives. So if you want to order 5 books, 10 books, 20 books, if you want me to sign your books, yada, 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 right? All of that's on the website, unstoppablecareerbook.com.
I'm going to do something else. I'm going to say, we're going to have a contest in social media and Lou's going to get the first 10 books. Those that respond in Instagram when we post this on a thing, when they go do it, first people to do it, they put a thing to me about Unstoppable Tracy Timm. That's what we did. You have to say Unstoppable Tracy Timm. Lou's going to get it. We'll go up to 10 bucks.
Hey, perfect.
I'm good.
I'll sign them even, man. We
got
buku books. Me and my mom, the two of us, there's like 50,
we kind of clipped her in the background there for those who didn't see her, but that's okay.
Mama Timm, she's the best.
So permission, Tracy Timm, to go down Fun Street with you.
I thought you'd never ask.
I know. Well, the last time we connected, which was a while ago, we're not going to share with how long ago it was. I haven't even looked it up, but it's a long time ago. The last time we had you on the show, we asked you what your favorite movie was, and we talked about movies and stuff like that. I can't even remember what it was. You probably can't either, but that's not important right now. So the way this is going to work is that I'm going to ask you a bunch of quick things. Okay. You're going to respond pretty much as quickly as you can. First thing that comes to your mind that makes you feel good, that pumps you up, that raises your game.
Feel good. All right.
That makes you thrive. These are the things that make you thrive.
Okay.
A song that pumps you up or gets you excited.
So there's this song by Andy Grammer called Good to Be Alive. Like parentheses, hallelujah.
Okay.
And it's what we used to play at the end of when we did workshops in person, when you could meet in person. Hallelujah, let that bass line move you. It's really good. It's excellent.
I like it. I like the fact we got you to
I
sing
remember
too.
Tony Robbins. That will be my coming out with the smoke song. You know?
We're coming out of a lot of things here on this episode. I want to make that clear.
What is wrong with me? Maybe we shouldn't have done this on a Wednesday.
Food. It's a favorite food that's not a dessert.
Favorite food that's not a dessert. Can I be uber specific? Well, it's probably, if I'm going to say a food genre, it's going to be queso, like any and all quesos. I'm a queso girl. I'm a Texas girl. But my favorite dish, maybe of all time, there's this cute little family-owned Italian restaurant in my hometown that serves this one dish that only I know about still. It's not even on the menu anymore. So whenever I go there, I order it. It's called chicken Dijon. It comes with angel hair pasta, and mushrooms, and artichokes, and this lovely cream sauce. Oh, thrive.
Favorite food, favorite dessert?
Ice cream. Next.
Something you wish you did more of?
So the first word that came to mind was play. I love to have fun. I wish I had more playfulness in my life. Like I grew up an athlete, right? And so lately I haven't been able to even play softball. Like I'd love to just play and be, I love play.
Something you wish you did less of?
Can I say work? Is that fair?
Yes. You can say whatever you want.
Because to be a person whose like message is all about loving your career, you do spend some time when you're a business owner doing a lot of things that you wish you didn't have to do until you don't have to do them anymore because someone else can do them. So something I'd love to do less is a lot of just the nuts and bolts and the administrative stuff in our business, and get to really free up to be the face and do the interviews and do all the things that I really love and I'm better at. So I'd love to do less of that.
Tracy, if you get to snap your fingers and go anywhere in the world, where are you?
Rome. I got to study abroad there in college and fell in love with it. And I would love to retire and be a little old lady who drinks wine and gossips and like dusts, the front of her porch step and like, I
would wear like the black hooded thing over your head and the big black car.
I'd also have at least 3 cats, it's like,
Tracy Timm, career coach, clarity expert, author. Congratulations, by the way, on Unstoppable. September 29th. It's coming out. She's holding the book.
No, it's so surreal. It's really just odd, frankly. I got my name on it. Like,
it has your name on it. Well, you should be proud of it. And I look forward to the 10 people that are going to get it, that I'm getting them books for. So they better really like it. And to that, so good to see you. So great to connect with you. And great to catch up. Yes. And for the bigger view, for those that are watching online, and great to catch up with the back of your mom who's in the background.
Yeah.
So we're giving her a shout out. Thanks again, Trace, for coming on the program.
Thanks so much. You are always a treat. I was so much fun. I'm so happy and proud to see what you're doing in the world and helping so many people. And it's just honoring and humbling to be
and wait, we still have, we're going to bookend the show because we have to give the shout out to Carrie Fabrice, who obviously was who knew that you guys were overlapped and connected.
I had dinner with her last night.
That is too funny.
Yeah, coincidence.
So now we're going to have to tell her that we should all eventually have dinner in some physical place when, we are allowed to go.
When people are doing that again. So, yeah. Definitely. No, perfect. She's fantastic. So glad to see that you guys connected. And I'm sure her episode was fun. You're going to have
to listen to it, I think. It's already
back in the day when I had a podcast, which was many moons ago, I interviewed her as well. And she just has so much energy and so vibrant. So
it's awesome stuff. Trace, great to catch up with you.
You too. Thanks so much for having me.
And to all our listeners out there, thank you for joining us. And until next time, keep thriving onward and upward. And remember, be brief, be bright, be gone.